At $200, is the Phenyx Pro PTU-5000 4-channel wireless microphone system a deal? We're going to find out. What is up, everyone? Man Bun Mellet here. Today we're going to be reviewing this 4-channel wireless microphone system from Phenyx Pro. Just to let you guys know, this was provided to me by Phenyx Pro, but in no way will it affect my review. Quick overview, this is a 4-channel fixed radio frequency system. It has a 260-foot range, 4 XLR outputs on the back, and 1/4 inch audio output, which is a mix of all 4 channels. It comes in 3 different flavors. The A version comes with 4 handheld microphones. The B version comes with 2 handheld mics and 2 body packs, which come with either the headset or the lav mic. And the third version, the D, comes with 4 body packs, which have the headset and lav. I could only find the D version on the Phenyx Pro website. According to Phenyx Pro, this system can be used for interviews, presentations, churches, parties, weddings, speeches, and small gigs. I'm going to go over this system, and at the end, I'll let you guys know what I think about that. Now, what you get in the box is the rack mount receiver, an AC power adapter for the receiver, your microphones if you have those, anti-rotation rings for the microphones. If you get the body packs, you'll have the body pack transmitters, the headset mics, and the lav mics. It'll also come with 2 antennas for the receiver, 8 batteries to power all of your wireless devices, a 1/4 inch TS cable for the mix out, and a 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch converter. Now let's get into each piece of the system, starting with the receiver. First, the construction. It is metal, probably aluminum. It's pretty solid, but there's no support in the middle of the unit, so if you tap it, kind of get that like high-pitched dinging sound. Not a huge deal, but just know that it's there. On the front of the unit, you'll have the power switch in the middle. We have 2 displays with 2 channels on each display. The displays are static. Nothing changes on them, but they don't need to change because the frequencies of the channels don't change. Next to each channel, you have the RFA and AFA LEDs. The RFA LED is red and will indicate if it's connected to the transmitter. The AFA LED is green and will indicate if it is receiving a signal. And lastly, on the front, you'll have 4 knobs for controlling the gain of each channel. In the back of the unit, you'll have 4 XLR outputs and a 1/4 inch unbalanced mix output. Here you can use a channel gain to set the mix levels. You also have 2 antenna connections and a 12 to 16 volt DC input. Now, if we go back to the front, you'll see we have 2 holes on either side of the rack. I believe these are for relocating the antennas to the front if this is mounted in a rack. Unfortunately, they don't include any relocation hardware, so you'd have to find that for yourself. Moving on to the handheld mic. It is significantly larger than a normal handheld microphone. If we look at the construction, it's pretty hefty. It's got some good weight to it. The shell is pretty much metal except for this little bottom bit at the end that is plastic. Overall, it also feels very solid. Aside from this little plastic bit at the end, it actually wiggles just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but it is there. The bottom sleeve of the unit will screw off, and inside here you'll have a mix of metal and plastic. We can see here why this bottom piece wiggles a little bit. You only have 2 screws here on either end, so it'll wiggle the opposite way of those screws. In here, you'll also have access to your 2 AA batteries. Honestly, if you didn't have the sleeve on here, I don't know if you could actually remove these things. On the opposite side of the batteries, it'll actually show the frequency as well. Interesting thing too, the top capsule can actually be screwed off and removed. At the bottom of the unit is the power button. You can probably hear that clicking sound and the spring vibrate. Let's try it up here. The switch, in my opinion, isn't the most robust, it seems, but it does its job, turns it on and off. Once you turn it on, you can see a fake backlit display. It shows the channel, the frequency, and the reception, but it doesn't change, so you always have great reception. There are no microphone clips provided. The main body is much bigger than a normal microphone and won't fit in a standard clip. However, the smaller bottom plastic bit will actually fit into a normal mic clip. However, because it's loose and just the precariousness of it, I wouldn't recommend it. Because this is wireless, you probably won't be mounting it onto a microphone stand anyway. The anti-rotation rings, they look a little funny, but they do their job. Moving on to the body pack. The outer shell is plastic. It is very lightweight. It's not cheap feeling, but I wouldn't trust dropping it on a concrete floor like I did with the Phenyx Pro PTM10. Check out that video. The belt clip seems pretty strong. It's got some good spring to it and doesn't feel like it's going to be coming off anytime soon. The door on the front opens to give access to the 2 AA batteries. The back also has a frequency sticker. On the top, we have the antenna, the power button, a power status LED, and the microphone connector. The power button on the handheld feels a little more solid than the microphone, and it doesn't have that springy clickiness. When you turn it on, the power indicator will flash red very quickly. Obviously, you connect your headset or lav mic to that microphone connection. It looks to be an uncommon connector, and I don't think that you can use other microphones with it. It does have that same fake backlit display as the Handheld, with the channel number, frequency, and your reception. Looking at the headset and lav mics, they both have the same connector that goes into the Bodypack. It's pretty solid, I would say. For the most part, it's mostly made on metal. The button that is used for detaching it, the release button, is plastic and it does its job, but I wouldn't say that it's the most robust design. With the lav mic, you really only have one way to clip it on, which is in the vertical position. You can't do any sort of rotating with it. Probably put that like there, and that's kind of what you're gonna get. The headset is not adjustable. It's got a pad over on this side and kind of maybe goes around back here. It's not very uncomfortable once you get it kind of in the right spot. My drummer used it for a practice session, which lasted about 2.5 hours, and he said it was fine. So all that is fine and good, but let's do some sound tests. So let's set that up. All right, so I have 3 microphones set up. I have the handheld microphone, the headset, and a lav mic. The gain for all 3 of these microphones are going to be turned up on the receiver, and I'm going to add a little bit of gain for my preamp going into the recording interface. And because it's not really fair to compare to my video microphone, I have another microphone here that we're going to use as a comparison. This is a standard microphone that you might see in a live scenario. It is a little more expensive than what these microphones would cost individually. It's about a $70 microphone, but at least give you guys a little bit of a comparison, even though it is still wired. So starting with this microphone, we're going to switch now. And this is the reference microphone, we're going to say, to compare all of these microphones to. So you guys kind of get an idea of what this sounds like. I'm not going to put any effects on these microphones, so you guys are going to get a completely dry output. Now we're going to go to the handheld microphone. We're going to move it a little bit closer, and this is what this microphone sounds like. In my opinion, it's a little muddy on the low end. It sounds okay, but if you really compare it to this other microphone, it's not the greatest sounding in the world. It kind of does its job, but yeah, it's okay. Now let's go to the headset microphone. This headset microphone actually sounds relatively clear, in my opinion. It sounds a little bit better than the handheld microphone. One thing I noticed when testing out this headset microphone is it doesn't block a lot of sound coming from this way. Our drummer was using it and we're getting a lot of the drum sound from this microphone. Now, if we switch to the lav mic, this is what this mic sounds like. I would say it's pretty much similar to the headset microphone. Because of the placement of the lav mic, you have to turn up the gain a little bit more to be more in comparison of this headset microphone. But overall, I would say it sounds the same. I would say that these are probably the same microphones, which is why they sound very similar. If we go back to this handheld, now you guys get an idea of what this microphone sounds like. Again, I think this is, of the 3 microphones, this is probably the worst sounding, unfortunately, but it doesn't sound awful. It just probably doesn't sound as good as these 2. And we'll go ahead and bring the reference microphone back in just so you guys can get an idea of what this microphone sounds compared to the other 3. All right, well, I think that's good enough for the sound test. We're going to switch back to that mic. Let's get rid of these microphones. Now, if you need 4 wireless channels and you only have $200 to spend, I think this system is definitely a buy. Sound quality aside, this is definitely a robust system. I haven't had any issues with signal quality or signal dropouts or any static or anything like that. So if you need a robust system, definitely look at this. It is also super easy to set up. I had this set up within 5 minutes of pulling it out of the box. Now, bringing up that use case list that Phenyx Pro had recommended, I would say most of these will work pretty well. I just wouldn't recommend using it in a live band scenario where sound quality really needs to be top notch. And I don't think I would use this at a wedding where you're probably getting paid pretty well and the people giving the speeches are going to be using the handheld mics and not the headsets or the lavs. But I can honestly see this being used in all these other scenarios. Well, that's it. That's all I got. And if you want to buy this system, feel free to use the link below. But hey, until next time, rock on.